Hello folks, Miss Roll here with our Bohr model notes. All right, so first of all, a quick review. Where are PNE, protons, neutrons, and electrons? So protons live in that nucleus, which in the little GIF there is that center bit with the blue and red dots. Neutrons also live in that nucleus. So we got blue and we got red. Those are both in the nucleus. And then our electrons live in this electron cloud out around the nucleus. And they're kind of floating around like you see. What is the electron cloud? Well, it's this space around the nucleus, basically. And we split it into energy levels. Basically, electrons have or need different amounts of energy to be at these different places. And we'll talk a little bit about atom stability later, so that'll make some more sense of why. But just know for right now, they need to be in these different levels. Bohr diagrams. So this is kind of what we're going to learn how to draw. But it has protons and neutrons written in the center. Like we're literally just going to write the numbers. But this Bohr diagram overall is a way to show what, how many, and where all of these particles are. So protons, neutrons, and electrons. So writing our protons and neutrons in the center, if we're, say, drawing lithium, right, you already know how to find the number of protons and neutrons from a periodic table. But we would put P3 and N4 in there to show that the nucleus in the center has 3 protons and 4 neutrons. And then the electrons are going to be drawn in the energy levels around the nucleus. So we're just going to show these with like a circle around the nucleus. And you'll see this more in the next slide. But each energy level can only fit a certain number of electrons. So in the first one, the first ring outside of the nucleus, we can fit 2 electrons. So it's small, right? On the inside, it's going to be the smallest, so it can only fit 2. Then the second level, we can fit 8. And the third level, we can fit 8. We're only going to go up to elements that have those 18 electrons. We're not going to go past that. But there are more energy levels that can fit more electrons for other elements. We just won't talk about those. All right, so steps for drawing. We're going to go over how to draw these here in just a second. All right, so steps for drawing. We're going to use our example of fluorine here. But first, our steps of it. One, we got to draw the nucleus. If you're drawing it by yourself, you just need to put a circle to be that nucleus. Most of our assignments will kind of give you the circles. Then you need to fill that nucleus with protons and neutrons. This does not mean drawing a bunch of dots. It just means putting the number. So if we look at fluorine here, we have our lovely square. Number of protons first is always that atomic number. So that for us is going to be 9. And then we need to also put in our number of neutrons. Remember, neutrons, we take the atomic mass down here and round it. So for fluorine, that's going to be 19. And then we subtract our atomic number. So 19 minus 9 is going to give us 10 neutrons. Okay, that part we already know. Easy, you just got to write it in the center. Now, if you don't have it already given to you, you got to draw energy levels. So these are just going to be rings outside of that nucleus. So one thing you'll notice is in my picture here, the rings I already have, that first one is a different color. And that's just showing me the nucleus, right? That's the nucleus. The rings outside are the energy levels, okay? So now we need to draw our electrons. So if you remember, our number of electrons are going to be the same as our number of protons. So I'm going to draw 9 total. On my first energy level, I can fit 2 electrons. Only 2 fit on that first level. Since I have 9, I'm going to draw 2 at least. So I've drawn 2. Now the next thing I do is think about how do I get to the rest of the electrons. So I was going to draw 9 total. I've already drawn 2. That means I have 7 left. Now I know the second energy level can fit 8, so I can fit all 7 in that next one. So I'm going to go ahead and draw 7. And I'm going to put them on kind of like all 4 sides, and we'll talk more about why later. So that's 4, and then I've got 5, 6, and 7. So I kind of put them on the 4 sides of our circle. And then when I started adding more, I gave them a buddy. This will become important later when we start talking about bonds and reactions. But now we are going to go on to talking a little bit more about exactly how and why we add electrons like that. All right, so adding our electrons, the energy level must be full before you go to the next one. So I knew I was drawing 9, but you notice I drew 2 in that first energy level, which is as many as it can fit. Then I went to the next one, right? So if we only had 2, both of them would be in that first level. And then the second thing is what you saw me doing was spreading the electrons out and then making pairs. So I drew the 2 kind of in our nucleus here first, right? And I went 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Kind of on those 4 sides like I mentioned. And then to finish filling it, I went 7, 8, 9. And if you draw 10, you draw a 10th. Again, we'll talk more about why those pairs matter later. But that is it for our Bohr model notes. Hope this makes sense. I highly suggest that you watch the next video, which is more examples on drawing these Bohr models. And make sure you ask questions and have a wonderful day.